Guys, it's your boy MitchCactus coming back with another Forza Horizon 4 video, and today's video is going to be showing, or this video is going to be displaying how I actually snipe the auction house, and I will be showing the best current methods that I know of that'll really allow you to try and get those cars that are extremely rare in the game extremely easily. And I'll also be showing briefly how you can try and use this to get very expensive cars for a discounted price. So I'm going to split this video up into two parts. The first part is going to be briefly explaining how I managed to get some extremely rare cars for very cheap prices that are available in the dealership. And the second portion of the video will be explaining how I recommend and how I have currently gone in order to try and snipe prize cars or other rare pre-order edition or Forza edition cars. And in case you guys are not, or some of you are not aware of what a prize car is, I'll be showing this more in depth when I'm actually going into the steps of how to auction hype. But essentially, just briefly, a prize car is a car that is won from a Wheelspin, Super Wheelspin, or Forzathon event, or some sort of other event, like the championship that recently featured the Mossler car that was in it. That is considered a prize car. And just before I get onto this video, I'm just going to be quickly explaining that I'm just going to be quickly putting in here that I was make sure to subscribe and notifications on, like this video. Also, you need to make sure to add me on Xbox. My name is MitchCactus, as you can see in the top left, and join my club MCYT. Or whether you do that by going search clubs, or you just do it on the Xbox application. It is completely up to you. Now I'm going to be getting onto the video. So, first, make sure to fast travel to Festival or your house, essentially anywhere you can actually access the dealership in the auction house. So a lot of you have noticed that recently I've actually managed to go ahead and collect almost every single car in the game. If I go through the auto show, you can see that almost all of them are owned. Of course, I'm referring to the ones dealership, and I have 24 of 25 Forza edition cars. So there's just a few that I haven't actually managed to try and get. I'm still working to snipe some of the rare Ferraris like these ones, and that's what I'm going with today briefly. But if you go through basically everything else, it's gonna say owned for almost everything. I've just some of those $10 million cars I've still not managed to get my hands on yet, because obviously you're not going to want to pay full retail. That's not going to be a very wise way to spend your credits. So now I'm going to start getting the video, and this is the part where I said this is how I get some of the rare cars that are worth a lot for cheaper prices. So when I mean rare cars, I essentially mean cars that have a value of $10 million and will contribute $10 million to your overall garage value net worth, but can be found on the auction house for extremely cheap prices, and by that I mean a price of around $1 million. Now this is a very car that is very low in demand. The only reason this bid is $10 million is because obviously this is a friend trying to give the other friend 10 million credits, because there's no reason he should do that. But essentially, you're gonna want to look for a car that whether you're looking to collect it, or you're looking to try and resell it for a higher price. Some ones I'd recommend doing are ones like the Ferraris that are the $10 million Ferraris that you can actually better resell for a bit, or whether you're just trying to collect it for yourself. So as you can see, this one is only going for 1.2 million. I'd say that's a pretty wise investment, and there's definitely something that has some potential resale value. Now a lot of these do sell for around 1 to 2 million, so if you can try and snag one for 1.1, 1.3, then it has a pretty good potential resale value for you. Another method that I suggest doing when you're going for the auction at sniping is trying to get Bugatti Veyrons and reselling those. So sometimes you can find them with a buyout of 1.1 million, and when you see 1.1 million buyout, you're going to want to buy that instantly, buy it out, and then resell it with a starting bid of around 2 million max buyout. Bugatti Veyrons are actually reasonably high demand, higher than a lot of people would expect, but there's still a decent threshold for there to be a large supply of cars that have a cheaper buyout. As you can see, this one is only at 2 million, but you can still flip that for around a 400k profit. Not that I suggest doing that, because I don't think it's the best method and it's the best way to spend your time, but that's definitely a potential way that you can try and pick up on a bit of extra credits. Now that you guys have seen that, I hope you can apply that to most cars, whether they're cheap or they're expensive, and I recommend, now I'm going to get on to the second part of the video, and this is the part that is really going to be considered sniping the auction house the most effectively. And when you go to search auction house, you'll notice that it's actually in the bottom left you see X to advance, and if I click X, whether it's on keyboard or it's actually on controller, both X will actually get you to this advanced search area. As you can see, there's a lot of selections that you can actually use here, and one of the best sniping methods that was actually around before the Mossler was a very prevalent car and it was gifted to everyone, was by going to the source for prize cars. So basically this is a source where I can only exclusively search for prize cars, which means basically all of these are rare, alongside if you go to United States and rear wheel drive, these are where they get really good. So this is where you can get the Crown Victoria police car, so a lot of the Dodges that aren't even on the dealership or the marketplace, such as the Dodge Demon, and you can resell them for millions of credits. So as you can see, the reason why this is no longer as effective is because Mosslers have simply infiltrated the auction house. Considering every single player was given one due to the inability to be able to complete the championship event, essentially now they've just completely infiltrated it and there's not really an effective way to do this anymore. So basically the reason people used to use that was because you could go and look for every single prize car all at once. Now if you want to go for a prize car, I'd recommend doing it by simply looking up that one car individually. Now the reason this is not as good anymore is because it requires you a lot of effort and you're going to have to keep going, for example, the Ford Crown Victoria over and over again until you find one. Now I know the hard truth of how the auction house sniping works is kind of annoying since it's not as easy anymore with this. It's still going to be a pretty good thing, method to be able to do this. You have to be aware of the pre-order cars and their value. And why I recommend doing this is because if you see basically any pre-order car on the market, you can simply buy that even if it has a max buy of 20 million, because even if it's got a max buy of 20 million, it's still quite a good pickup. You might not be able to sell for profit again, but some of these pre-order cars are extremely good, especially the Porsche 911 GT3 RS pre-order edition, which is known to actually have the fastest lap around Goliath. So now, basically the way I go ahead and snipe and I go ahead and flip cars is simply by going for some prize cars, and you can look at all of them, but you put a max buyout of around, or a minimum buyout of around 1 million. So now you're actually going to be getting into a more exclusive zone for cars, and this is where you're not only going to be able to actually get cars that noobs are selling for low prices, this is where you'll be able to find ones that are actually quite good in general. So when you see some of these cars, you'll notice that they're actually quite rare, specifically the Porsche Cayenne Turbo bid of 6 million. Now the reason this is worth so much and is so prevalent in the auction house world is because it's one of the rarest cars in the game, and a lot of people actually collect these cars. Now whether or not you'd like to think that the Porsche Cayenne Turbo is an extremely rare car, it actually is, and a lot of these cars that I'll show you right now are extremely rare, and this is why a lot more people need to be aware as to what their actual worth is, and you can't just go and sell these prize cars for a minimum buyout price and expect actually it be a good way to earn some credits. You could be missing out on a lot of potential income, and I'm going to be showing you why. So as you can see, there's a decent amount of Alfa Romeo P3s, and you actually get these from buying the Edinburgh Castle. So that's a good amount of money to make, but you can see the KTM Expo GT4 will sell for a lot. Any car that has this buyout potential of 20 million is going to be able to sell for a lot, because it means it's a rare prize car and it's exclusive, including the Skyline GTR Spec 2 and a lot of these other cars. What I'm doing is going to a minimum buy of 20 million, and you want to take note of all of these specific cars. There's going to be quite a large list of them when it comes to Jeep, Cherokee, some of these cars that are Dodges that you would never expect to be worth a lot, one like the Crown Victoria, and you want to take note of what these are, and you want to keep a close lookout for these. So scroll through the auction house whether you're using advanced search or not, and just go to these individual buys and keep an eye out. Obviously this is one guy who's just managed to snipe a lot. Disregard those because it's obviously got just such a high supply of those, but it's different ones where some of these rare cars, you want to know what they are. So if you're going through auction houses and you're sniping them, you know exactly which one to go for first, which one to prioritize, which one is worth spending potentially hundreds of thousands to millions actually going for the buyout, because you know it has a resale value. As you can see, a Grand Cherokee, this is one that you can look out for. A lot of noobs don't realize the significance of these, and they go and sell them to try and make a small amount of money, but you can really resell them for quite a lot. The XB Falcon GT is a good example of that. It's something that's although it says common here, it's not that common of a prize car, but it is common of a car that people seem to think is worthless and then disregard it and sell it for a low price. Hope you guys enjoyed that video on how I auction snipe, how I managed to pick up a lot of rare cars, and what rare cars to look out for when you're actually going for this auction house sniping. Now auction house sniping is no longer as efficient, and I feel like I needed to make that clear, but it's still something you can do. So essentially get a big list of all the rare cars that you've documented based off of the minimum that have a buyout that can be go for up to 20 million, and essentially go ahead and look for these, and you'll be able to resell them to the auction house or keep them as a collector's item. That's going to be about it for this video. Make sure to smash that like button, comment any suggestions for future videos, and positive or constructive criticism that you have for me. Make sure guys subscribe and stay tuned, because I'm going to be uploading 5 days a week, and yeah, that's going to be about it. Thank you for watching.